Okay, so good evening, everyone. We are starting our class number 9 of Advanced Course in Drones for Development. Today, we will be going a little more in depth of drones for healthcare, and we will be learning directly from the experiences of our experts from various parts of the world who have worked in the complexities of implementing a complex system in their own countries. They would be sharing their experiences of how difficult it had been for them, why did they do that, what did they learn from it, and probably how should one go about in similar situations wherever they are. So today we will start our first session. We will be having two speakers. We have Juan from Peru and we have Jörg from Switzerland, and they will be talking to us about their experiences. The first session is going to be of Yuan. Yuan, you can come online and start presenting.
Buenos dias. Good morning. All the way from Peru. Yeah, we are, we are very far from you guys, and we're a small country compared with India. All the countries are small. So we are only 35 million people, and we are facing also the same challenges that the world is facing with this COVID-19. So thank you very much for having the opportunity to share our experience that we have in the jungle of Peru. I would like to start with a video. It's a documentary did by CNBC, and see if that technology will help us. So that was the video that we did a year ago, related with using drones to do medical cargo delivery on the jungle. I have here a presentation. Let me start with that, please. Okay. Okay, as you may know, we are Peru Flying Labs. We belong to We Robotics, and then about 2.5 years ago, we did a testing on how to use drones in the Amazon. Some of the smartest guy will say Amazon on the Amazon, but it's not there yet. But anyway, so we did this testing. As you can see from the pictures, this is where we are. We are on the west part of South America. We are a country with 37 million people, and we have the border with other Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, and this is the size of our country we compare with the US. And we share the big Amazon with Brazil. And we are 1/3 of the Amazon, South American Amazon, belongs to Peru. It's a beautiful area, but unfortunately, because of the raining, there is a very few means of transportation. As you can see, it's very beautiful, but this is a very clear example, and most of you will notice why the drone technology will be very useful. To go from point A to point B, going to these two cities. Unfortunately, as I was mentioned, we don't have roads because this is a very rainy area, a very difficult, and the infrastructure is not there. So the only means of transportation is by river. And as you can see from here, going from point A to point B, it may take maybe 3 or 4 hours on a straight line with the plane by the air is about 20-25 minutes. And the Peru's territory, 60% of the country is this jungle. And only that 10% of the population lives on the 60% of that territory. As you can see, it's a very low dense areas. So the economics is also very difficult to justify a significant investment. And I think this is the reason we think that these drones, and all of us are in this market, it will be very interesting if we see the experience that happened with the phones. Remember, in our country and some of the less developed countries, the penetration of the phones were not the fixed, meaning the fixed lines. In some of you guys, the millennials, hopefully they will know what the fixed line means, but the fixed lines were not very high. It was very difficult for the people to get a fixed line. Now, everybody has 1 or 2 mobile phones in most of the places on Earth. Hopefully, the same thing will happen with aviation. Even the commercial aviation, even the general aviation, meaning helicopters and small planes, barely reaches these remote areas. Hopefully, with our drones, we may be able to reach these remote areas. So actually, that's a big paradigm that hopefully our drones will succeed there. As you can see here, a straight line would be very easy to do it by air. And as I mentioned, and this is one of the significant meaning of transportation. It's a canoe. And they transport medicine, they transport the logistic on this one. They use small engines. And this is going by boat, it will take about 3 hours. And going by air, these 40 kilometers, it will take an hour approximately, maybe less than that one. Because some of the drones that we use, we can go up to 50 kilometers an hour. And one of the challenges to do this project was, even we're going to help transporting medicines, but you got to be very careful on what are the use cases and especially the permissions. You cannot go and get and sit down in the middle of the living room of the person, even you try to help without asking permission. So wherever you guys trying to do these projects, be sure that you get all the permits. In this example, what we did is we use anti-venom. Unfortunately, in this area, we have a significant number. The statistics are very high. We have 45 bites per month. And this anti-venom, as maybe some of you doctors or people who know medicine, is not easy to store. And also the logistic is very difficult because it got to be for a specific snake. You need a specific anti-venom medicine. It's not like one will fit all the bites. So keeping the logistic of the anti-venom is very difficult. So that's why the remote areas, they need a way to ask for this medicine and receive it, hopefully in a short period of time, meaning by that 3 or 4 hours, no more than that one. Another very important point is talk with the people on the community, and also some of the places you will say go to TV, but in these remote places, the main meaning of communication is radio. In this case, you can see it's me, the doctor, and also Patrick from Robotics talking with a local radio station and explaining what we're going to do. I can share with you a very interesting experience. You know, this Nobel Prize, Garcia Marquez, they use this magical kingdom stories around South America. You know, some of you may read this, 100 Years of Solitude. But the thing is, these stories are around. So in one another project that we did is we were flying our drones and we missed one of them. It's about, you know, we missed one of them. And then we asked our people to go and retrieve it because we know we were there. And then there was a remote Indian community, the local community, that they thought that they have a big legend, say that there will be some people from other planet coming by the air with some white apparatus. So as you can imagine, what was the problem that we had there. But anyway, so it's important to talk with the local community. And also, you know, explain what we're doing. Some of these people will be the first time that they're going to see a drone in this remote community. And also, you know, hey, doing this transportation of these drones, because we were using fixed drones. I will explain you this a little bit later. So this is not the small Mavic or Phantom that you can carry on a briefcase. These are not heavy, but they have kind of wings that can go 1 or 2 meters. So transporting that one is a logistic task by itself. And of course, if we can ask Mark Zuckerberg about the $500,000 drone, we can do whatever we want. But we need to take into consideration the cost of the planes. In this case, it's a very low cost fixed wing plane that we were using. And as you can see here, it's not a pretty picture because it's been used several times. And as you know, the people who worked on the drones know that drones crash. So in this case, as you can see here from the slide, we call it Frankie. And my engineers, one of them are the one holding the plane. I asked, hey, what do you call this Frankie, this drone? He said, because it's a Frankenstein. Because it used different parts for different drones. So there is no really original parts. So that's what they call, this is Frankenstein. As you can see, we repaired with the famous duct tape, and then it works. And it did his job. Here is another picture. So the point here is we need to use affordable solutions. We cannot go with $200,000 or $300,000 drones, you know, because as I mentioned, drones, especially when you're trying to reach long distances, things will happen. So this is the plane. It's a fixed wing that will use the standard technology. The one who knows about this one, we use the Pixhawk as a autopilot, and we use the mission planner to plan the mission. So something which is very affordable, very used, and very common use, and very standard. So, of course, we cannot take, 1 kilo of medicine. We'll take about 200, 250 grams from point A to point B. So we have to be very selective on the things that we're going to ship. again, also our people need to be able to do the work. You know, we don't necessarily need to bring people from overseas to do the operations. Of course, they may be able to help us and maybe use their technology, but you got to do it with local people, with our local experience. And in this case, we did a demo on how we're going to recover, and this is one of the people who were doing the experience with the paramedics. This is the first one who smiled after they bite the snake. But anyway, he was not a good doctor anyway, but he helped us a lot there. And here is a video. As you can see, we don't need any special places to start, neither, as you can going to see, to land. I don't know how fans are India for soccer, but here in South America, we play soccer. So in every even a little town, they have a soccer field. So our operations go from the soccer field of the town A and we landed in the soccer field of town B. And this is another important thing is this is a technology that's been embraced by young people. So, and this is also very, I don't want too much into politics, but it's very egalitarian. So as you can see, the amount of women or ladies or little girls were the same as the boys. And to handle the drone, to manage all these operations, there's no difference between a male and a woman. So that was very, very good. And I really, especially in these remote areas, you know, they have still, you know, some big difference on the sexes. And in this, using this technology, really get the female population very excited that we're able to do that one. And hopefully with our visit, there will be several women pilots for this technology. And again, in this second case, going from one place to another was 6 hours by boat and 35 minutes by drones. And also because we did one-way anti-venom, we thinking, okay, now how we're going to do to return? Because we send one way and then we had to return it. So someone came with a good idea of sending blood back to our main city. So that's why we asked for a volunteer. This guy also from Caerobotics, he volunteered to use their blood for the return flight. We use this small case that we put some ice and we're able to ship it inside the drone. And we, as you can know, you know, our drones, we don't need light to fly. We fly by instruments most of the time. So whenever we did our flight, because we record all the operations on the mission planner, we decide to do the return flight at night. So that's also another advantage of using drones, because when you use the regular planes in some of these remote areas, they don't have, in the remote case that they have a landing strip, they may not have lights. But with our drones, we can fly day and night because we don't need lights to fly. That's another important consideration. I would like for you guys to read this one because, as I mentioned, with $200,000 or $300,000 drones, you can do whatever you want. But the thing is, we need to be conscious that we need to have an affordable solution because you're going to go to remote areas, and so the people, the paramedics, the people who live in the community, by proper training, should be able to handle these drones. So that's the challenge. And also, I'm sure that in your country, in India, also we have this big number of motorcycles and similars. And so the same guy who repaired the motorcycles should be able to repair the drones. So that's the thing that we need to be able to see it. Again, we did another flights too. As you can see, that's the Google Earth for the river. We did one flight for 75 kilometers and then another flight for 55 kilometers. Of course, we don't have any telemetry after 10 kilometers, in the best cases. So, yeah, we got to put 2 or 3 candles, and some of you guys religious, we start praying that the plane gets there. But they are very reliable, not 99%, but we can think that 80% reliable is what technology can give us now with this low-cost technology. And if that's the case, I think we're going to save lives. That's a big number. And this is one of the things, another drone that we use. In this case, we call Lara, it's a female name, and then that's Frankie's big sister. As you can see, the population of these young people, several of them, they're going to become pilots from these drones. And this is where we place the cargo in the drones. This is another thing is also, I'm talking about time, but also we have these, the police, they have this big boat that they can go in a fast way by going from Contamana to Tiruntan in these 2 cities just to arrive. Of course, they may take in the big boat maybe 1 ton of cargo, but they will take 4 hours and they will take, about 100 gallons of gas. For us, in this drone, we use only batteries. So it will take, maybe a little bit of energy, but if you compare the cost of 100 gallons of gas for this high-speed boat, it's a big difference. And this is the final picture that we did after we complete the mission. As you can see, we have the local community, we have the people from the military, we have the mayor, we have everybody, and we're able to complete the mission. And of course, there is other opportunity there along with the project. We are with robotics doing a Zika reduction project, and then also we help on the natural disasters. As you can see here, the pictures on the left and right, that's what happened on the flooding on this part of the world. The picture on the left was in March, and then on the right is on May. You can see the difference on these two areas. And so we were able to get all the main drones organization on the country, and we organized this helping plan. So basically, that's what I have to present for today. I don't know, Ruchi, how do you handle? There's going to be questions or no, but more than happy to do that one. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Juan, for presenting this, and thank you for generously sharing your experience and knowledge with everybody. And we will not take a break for questions now. We will allow Jörg to present, and then we will take the questions at the end. I hope you don't mind that, Juan.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So, Jörg, I hope you're online.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and we can see you as well.
Because
okay, we can hear
my laptop tends to do weird things. Can you hear me well?
Okay, everybody. So Jörg is the head of engineering at Caerobotics, and strangely, his laptop does weird things to him. Welcome, Jörg, to our class.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll just share my screen in a second. Okay, so I'm happy to present some of my experience on a project that I was working on last year. It was all around collecting TB tuberculosis samples in rural Nepal. This was a joint project between Caerobotics, Nepal Flying Labs, Drone Nepal, and BNMT, which is the Nepal Medical Trust, Impact TB, and the Nick Simons Institute. To give you some context, and this may not be new to you, but 80% of residents in Nepal live in rural areas. 50% of them live in very remote, very mountainous regions with poor access to essential medicine. 70% of Nepali actually carry TB, tuberculosis, and there is a unknown but likely high active case number. And TB is the fourth leading cause of death in Nepal, with many cases undiagnosed. So I'd like to start with a video.
There are places where there are no roads. Beautiful places with wonderful people. Places which are isolated, remote. Places where if you get sick, you may not be able to reach medical care. Where if you have a disease, you may never even get diagnosed. In remote areas, the sick may have to walk for hours or even days to visit a doctor. If they are very sick, they may not be able to complete this walk. They stay at home. They do not get diagnosed. They infect their loved ones. They do not receive life-saving treatment. Many of them die. What if, instead of asking the sick to go seek health services elsewhere, we brought those health services to the sick? How many lives could we save?
अनुभव त मेरो चाहिँ खासो लाग्यो खासो लाग्ने बेला चाहिँ अलि रगतको चाहिँ चिता देखो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि म अस्पताल जान गएर जाँचो जाँदाखेरि टिबी बिमारी देखो मैले 6 महिनासम्म वर्षी 6 महिना तक मैले कुरेर मेरो शरीरमा चाहिँ नि खासो धेरै लाग्यो त्यहीबाट सरको डायरी मैले सारे निकालेर पत्र निकाले लगभग मेरो उपचार पुरा भइसक्यो
यहाँ कति घरहरू यस्ता पनि छन् जहाँ बाटोघाटो गइरहेको छैन हामीहरूलाई त्यहाँ पुग्नको लागि 4 देखि 5 घण्टासम्म पनि लाग्ने गरेको छ यहाँ टिभी चाहिँ व्यापक रूपमा फैलिएको जस्तो मानिन्छ र कतिपय व्यक्तिहरूलाई हामीलाई टिभी भएको छ भन्ने पनि थाहा जानकारी छैन यस्तै कठिन चुनौतीहरूले गर्दा नै नयाँ प्रविधिहरूको विकास हुन्छ
My name is Uttam Pudasaini.
नमस्कार मेरो नाम सीता जीसी
मेरो नाम गंगाराम बुढाथोकी हो
My name is Pradeep Khatiwala.
मेरो नाम विशाल सुवेदी.
My name is Suman Chandra Grung.
My name is Raghu Thital.
मेरो नाम कुबेर श्रेष्ठ.
I'm Jörg.
I'm Felix.
I'm Audrey.
I'm Johan. I'm Sebastian.
My name is Shraddha Acharya.
मेरो नाम साबुत्रा रिजाल म चाहिँ प्युठान जिल्लाको महिला स्वास्थ्य स्वयंसेविका
We are working together.
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दै छौं
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दै छौं
We are working together to find and treat more cases of tuberculosis in hard-to-reach areas using the most advanced technology available.
Drones.
To fly laboratory samples from the field to a lab.
Video tutorials.
To empower healthcare workers and patients to understand and take control of their health.
Smart pill boxes.
To help ensure correct treatment for those who otherwise would be unable to receive it. The most difficult challenges require the very best tools. Let's do this.
Okay, so this project was an initiative to, as the video explains, to increase the diagnosis of tuberculosis in Nepal. Our project was focused in the Bhutan district, that is in the southwest, mid-southwest of Nepal, actually close to the border of India. And what we were trying to set up is an infrastructure network that links major hospitals with regional or very remote, actually, towns, health posts to transport TB samples. So these were sputum samples that would then be loaded to the drone and flown to the hospital and analyzed there. And in case that there is a treatment needed, the drone would also fly back medication to the health post. The routes that we set up were pre-programmed, and we would install them, and then the drones would fly these routes on a daily, weekly basis, depending on demand. So this was a first, it started as a pilot project, and then it turned into an actual operational project. It is still running, actually, and it was running over more than a year. And me and my team, we were responsible for setting up the technology in order to achieve this. There were really multiple challenges involved when trying to set up this. Some of the challenges were more technical, and other challenges were more operational. Just as Juan mentioned before, community engagement was one of the challenges. Getting permissions to fly and to operate was another big challenge. I'll talk more about the challenge of establishing communications. Obviously, we're facing weather challenges when working in mountainous regions. We're also concerned about the operation of non-technical stuff, handing over technology to people that work in the health sector and not necessarily work with technology on a daily basis. Then we had a number of technical, really engineering challenges to address. It was a requirement that the drone could land autonomously in a very confined area, such as on a rooftop. So that required us to do some very specific engineering. And another point that we had to make sure is that the equipment that we bring into the country can be maintained and will last long. The first step, we had to select appropriate technology for this use case. We used a off-the-shelf DJI drone, a big DJI drone, so not the small Phantom, but a heavy lift drone that we could source. We had to modify this drone because this is not. It's the drone per se is not optimized for autonomous operations. It is also not optimized for doing cargo deliveries, which means flying from point A to point B. These systems are optimized for being operated by a single person. So that's an important difference. But these drones are affordable, and that's very important for such a project. They are also really at a high industrial level, so they are reliable, and they are simple to use. And everything that we built on top of that also had to be simple, and it had to be autonomous. That was one of the key aspects, and of course reliable and affordable. So the first step was getting the tech ready. We started that in Switzerland and then transferred it to Nepal. While we were getting the tech ready, our friends from Nepal Flying Labs were getting or trying to get the permissions to fly in country, and that turned out to be a really big challenge. There was it took about 6 months to get the flight permissions to do these beyond visual line of sight operations. And there was really a time when I was in contact with the people in Nepal on a daily basis, and they were queuing in front of the or at the ministries to basically hand in letters on a daily basis. There was lots of material required from us, and always something more. They always ask for more information, more details. We had to get the support really from the local people around the villages, then from the regions, and basically all the way up to the government level. We had to get letters of support, and we did that. We submitted that, and actually only thanks to our friends in Nepal that did a great job in handling all this with the ministries. We managed to get the flight permissions. It was really a tough job, but after all, it was worth it, and we managed to get the flight permissions, but definitely a very tricky part. We had then to ship all the equipment to Nepal. The shipping per se was easy. Then the customs was the next challenge. So our equipment was stuck in customs for multiple weeks, and again, Nepal Flying Labs and all the stuff in Nepal had to go to the customs and to ministries and so on, and present letters, kind of to get permission to import all that material. Again, that was a challenge, and it was definitely not easy. So when we had the equipment in country and we had the flight permissions, we could actually, and we had the technology ready from on our end. We had all the hardware and software ready. We traveled to Bhutan. So for me, this was quite a long trip from Zurich to Istanbul, Kathmandu, Nepal Gunj, and then finally to Bhutan. So that was a good, I think 35 hours trip, but it was absolutely worth it. We came to this beautiful mountainous region of Bhutan that you see on this image here. And then we were working in Nepal, and that was again very enriching for me. Just to give you a quick overview of what my day looked like. Breakfast at 7, starting to work at 8. Then we had to fight with power outages, like at a felt 15 minutes interval, but definitely very often we had to deal with that. Internet very often was very poor, so we had to find a sweet spot where we would go to and point our phone in the right direction to get a good connection. Then we had lunch, and we would then work again until 5 p.m. after lunch. When we wanted to work late, we needed special permission. That was for me also uncommon, because in the field, things very often go wrong. So you're forced to work a little bit more than usually. So we were trying to get permissions to work late almost every day. And then there were extra challenges in the field. We realized that we needed to translate everything into Nepali, and that really also meant all the software that we programmed, all the software for user interaction needed to be translated into Nepali. This we did in the field. We knew that there are big mountains in Nepal, but still, it was, when we get there, it was again impressive to see them, and the technology having to deal with it was of course a challenge. And we had lots of, because of the mountains as well, and because of bad internet and other bad communication systems that are established there, we had to fight a lot with our own communication systems. So to connect and talk with to the drone, or just to have a wireless connection to the drone, that was one of the key challenges that we faced in the field. In Switzerland, everything looked great, and when we were in Nepal, we suddenly had huge troubles with it. And it took us multiple iterations, debugging, analyzing the system, trying out new things, doing range tests, and so on, until we found a workable solution for that. That was definitely one of the biggest challenges, the technical challenges in the field. Now here I have a video to show you how it looked in the field.
There are places where there are no roads, where if you get sick, you cannot reach medical care, where if you have a disease, you'll never get diagnosed. In remote areas, the ill may have to walk for hours or even days to visit a doctor. if they are very ill, they may not be able to complete this walk. They stay at home. They don't get diagnosed. They don't get life-saving treatment. What if instead of asking the ill to go seek health services elsewhere, we brought those health services to the ill? How many lives could we save?
यहाँ कति घरहरू यस्ता पनि छन् जहाँ बाटोघाटो गइरहेको छैन। हामीहरूलाई त्यहाँ पुग्नको लागि 4 देखि 5 घण्टासम्म पनि लाग्ने गरेको छ। यहाँ टिभी चाहिँ व्यापक रूपमा फैलिएको जस्तो मानिन्छ र कतिपय व्यक्तिहरूलाई हामीलाई टिभी भएको छ भन्ने पनि जानकारी छैन। यस्तै कठिन चुनौतीहरूले गर्दा नै प्रविधिहरूको नयाँ प्रविधिहरूको विकास हुन्छ।
My name is उत्तम पुडासाइनी।
नमस्कार, मेरो नाम सीता जीसी।
मेरो नाम गंगाराम बुढाथोकी हो।
Hi, my name is Pradeep Khatiwala.
I am Max Coors.
मेरो नाम विशाल सुवेदी।
My name is Shraddha Acharya.
My name is Suman Chandra Grung.
My name is Ragu Thetal.
मेरो नाम कुबेर श्रेष्ठ।
मेरो नाम साबुता रिजाल। म चाहिँ प्युठान जिल्लाको महिला स्वास्थ्य स्वयंसेविका।
We are working together.
We are working together.
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दै छौं। We are working together.
We are working together.
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दैछौँ।
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दैछौँ
To find and treat more cases of tuberculosis
in hard-to-reach areas, using the most advanced technology available,
Drones.
to fly laboratory samples from the field to a lab,
Video tutorials.
to empower patients to understand and take control of their health,
Smart pill boxes.
to ensure treatment for those who otherwise would be unable to receive it. The hardest challenges require the very best tools. Let's do this.
We are working together.
हामी सबै
Okay, so that was a video of the operations that we started last June, and ever since then it's fully operational. We had, as I mentioned before, we had to go through a few iterations to get everything up and running, but now it's completely operational. 2 hospitals are serving 8 health centers. Typically 10 flights are done and 80 sputum samples are flown on a weekly basis. All the flights are now fully automated from start to landing. The longest route that we cover is 6.7 kilometers, and the highest altitude per flight is 900 meters that we need to cover. For me, again, and I think this is very much in line with what Juan shared before, the technology has to be simple, it has to be reliable, it has to be affordable, and it needs to be autonomous so it can be easily transferred, and it really needs to be inclusive with the local community in order to work. And I think these are the 5 keywords of the lessons why this project turned out to be so successful. So I think I'll stop here, probably already over time already, and we can switch to some questions.
Thank you so much, Jörg. Amit, Amit or Saksham? Saksham, I think it's your turn today for questions.
Hi, sir. We have different question for you. Just wait a second. So the first question is from Annie Sam. How you made a fully autonomous drone using a DJI developer tools or anything else?
Yes. So we added an electronic extension to the drone that is composed of an extra microcontroller or microcomputer, if you like, and we added multiple sensors to it. There was a ground distance sensor that we added. We added a camera that would detect a landing tag on the ground, and let me think, and a few other sensors that we added, and we added extra our own communication system. So basically 2G, 3G, 4G connection, and as well separate RF communication system. And then there was a few other drone-related settings, parameters that we needed to tune in order to turn the DJI drone into a what we call cargo drone.
Okay, sir. So you mentioned computer. So computer as in companion computers like Raspberry Pi or like BeagleBone Black or anything else?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Sir, what are the approximate maintenance costs involved in such operations? This is the question for you and Ruchi ma'am both. Both
Ruchi
of
ma'am,
you.
Juan.
So your question is what maintenance costs are involved?
Yes, sir. Operation. What are the approximate maintenance costs involved in such operations?
Yes, we need to replace batteries every few months, depending on the amount of flights that were done. So these are operational costs, and we also then we do some other regularly replacements of parts. But it's in terms of costs, I would say this is below $2,000 to $3,000 per year for, let's say, for one to two drones.
Okay.
Yeah, in my experience also is very, very low the cost of this one because in our planes we use that servo, a good servo, talking about maybe $5. The duct tape is fairly inexpensive. So yeah, I would say around maybe no more than $1,000 per year to maintain this aircraft, Roger.
Okay, sir. What were the safety features on the modified DJI cargo drone? Did you install additional features or did you incorporate the already existing safety features?
Yeah, there was definitely multiple features. One additional one was the redundant communication that we established to have communication to the drone at all times when flying such long distances. Then we had mission related features such as safe landing spots. So in case there was strong wind and the drone could not reach the destination, the drone would fly to a safe landing spot and land there. There was software features such as weather planning and looking at the local weather forecast and giving this the pilots so they would that they would always need to consider that, and there was sort of a safety check that the weather was okay. Features like that we definitely had to think about. Yes.
Okay, sir, is it compulsory to have 3 GPS antenna in DJI Matter 600? And what happens if we have 1 GPS antenna?
It is, you need, I mean, we need the GPS antennas for navigation. Yes, so it is mandatory. The DJI M600 Pro that we used has triple redundancy on the GPS. Of course, you can also rely only on one, but having redundancy on your sensors just makes the system more reliable and stable.
Okay. So there's a question for Mr. Juan. If we have given an autonomous mission with the mission planner, in such cases, what about the range and radio of the radio and the range of telemetry? Like what after some range, after the distance, it's out of range.
Yeah, usually in a base cases, the telemetry, you're talking about 10 kilometers with some extensions. There's a couple of low-cost alternative that you can put on your controller and an extra antenna on the plane. You can get 10 kilometers. So meaning for these 40 kilometers, let's assume 40 kilometers, you have 10 from the city A. On the city B, you have other 10. So actually, you only have 20 kilometers without any telemetry and without any communication. And of course, we are taking some risk. But as you may know, in aviation, most of the time on the air is not a problem. So flying a plane on the air, the incidents or the accidents are the minimum. The issues are on the takeoff and the landing. So when you are the takeoff and the landing, you have the telemetry on hand. So that's the situation, Roger.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there's a question from Amit. I would like to know about the safety features of fixed wing.
We have a small GPS with a little transmitter that is the one who emit the position of the plane every 5 minutes. So that's how we control that position. But again, usually in that halfway on the flight, our experience, we did like a 70, 80 flights. We don't have any problem on the flight. Usually this mission planner, the Peacock, this new version, is very reliable. So I think we have this extra measure, but usually as long as you have a good telemetry on the arrival and on the landing, you're going to be okay.
Sakshan bhai, sorry to disturb. May I have a question?
Yes.
So, Juan sir, as you have been using a Skywalker probably, so the Skywalker with the mapping version comes up with a parachute also. So, are you using that or you are not using that?
No, we are not using that. We are not using that. Okay. We're just landing on the belly. Yeah.
Okay. And
we have a little sensor that we use one of the servos to close and open the gate for the lenses of the camera, Roy.
Okay, so the Skywalker also has an option to keep redundant motors. So I didn't find redundant motors. So is it necessary for that operation or it is not?
For us, it's not. For us, no. Okay. What we are thinking on adding is this laser proximity sensor, and we are thinking on doing that one, but that will add another, maybe $500-$600 per plane, but I think it will be worth it. Roger.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Saksham, I think Jörg has left for another call. So if there are any questions for Jörg, we can note it down and send it on email, and probably he can reply it later in our feedback forms. And
Okay, ma'am.
I think we should call it a day today. And I would really like to thank our speakers from Caerobotics and Flying Labs for the presentation today. And thank you so much, Juan, for connecting us from all the way from South America. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. Anytime.
And you have a really great day, and I'm really hoping that Peru stays safe.
Thank you. You too, guys, too.
Thank you so much,
pleasure.
everybody. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
And we'll continue the discussion on healthcare drones. Good night.